Simulcast, the Neil Haley Show, and the Singularity Podcast with our host Gary Lyon Otto. And unbelievably enough, I am trying to. What question are we on, Gary? You can tell us, and I'll name the question.
We're on
We're not. What question?
question 31.
All right, so we're in season three, episode 31. I cannot believe it. And the question is today: is humanity's arrogance, how humanity is arrogant to get in the way of truly understanding DI. And Gary, this one is absolutely one that when you wrote the book, you did not think this arrogance would be coming out this strong, this fast
It is.
of people that are anti digital intelligence.
It's interesting, Neil. I have 50 years in finance, and I think I'm not sure I'm paraphrasing it, but Einstein made a comment about one of the most powerful forces in the universe is compound interest. And when you compound, right now, the compounding rate of intelligence, of the advancement of digital intelligence is so high that I'm not surprised by how fast it's going. It has just become, because you're compounding, like if you compounded 3% interest, you get so much in gain, but you go compound at 5 or 6%, the difference is massive if you go over a period of years. Well, now we're talking about weeks. We're compounding over weeks. We're not compounding over years. So the compounding of the growth of this intelligence is just beyond belief. Every day you have one company or another, whether it's Gemini or now NVIDIA is now leapfrogging again. One company's leapfrogging another. Now you're going to have ChatGPT or OpenAI coming out with at the same time as Anthropic coming out with massive public offerings. I mean, just huge. Then you have SpaceX, which has a huge AI component about it. That's coming out. It's going to be almost like $1.9 trillion. And we're talking about just such phenomenal amount of money is flowing into this arena. And so it's going to be, so this growth is just beyond belief, just beyond belief. So I'm not surprised by the compounding effect.
See, and this is the problem. They're waiting to the end. A lot of the people probably that are arrogant about this, and they think that they don't like it, they are anti it, they don't want to touch it, is because they're thinking that it will replace them. And Gary, I think the mistake that all the big tech companies made, and it possibly because we're in a worldwide race. This is a global race. This is not just the United States. This is all the world. China's already developing DI that's a lot less expensive that people are adopting in the United States. They're using China technology, which who knows with the tracking and all that. I think the United States should have learned from TikTok that you better create a product better than China, or you're in trouble. It reminds me of the days when Japan had better electronics than the United States had, and they probably still do. That we never did come back from that electronic transfer to go and make it in China, make it in Japan, make it in Taiwan. Well, the same thing's going to happen with DI. And the arrogance for people, we're going to lose this. But what the United States should have done is we are going to make sure that they become a partner with you. We're going to make sure that digital intelligence is never going to take your job, but you have to improve your skills because when a factory stopped having, had robot workers, they didn't tell those people, you got to increase your skills and we'll retrain you in the world. And that's what we have to do is a retraining. And the arrogance is the teachers unions too. They are absolutely outrageous what they're talking about. So everyone has a fear right now.
Well, in a way, it's healthy. I mean, because fear causes action. Fear hopefully stimulates trying to keep up. And a lot of people aren't going to be able to keep up. But the thing is, we were talking about agencies. Agencies have become the dominant motion, the dominant way to use digital intelligence these days. And it's, you're a big proponent of that and a big user. And I think with that leverage that comes from that. If people learn how to use it, that's what the education has to focus on. It has to focus on how do you use our partners' skills and partner with them. Those people will last the longest and do the best. But there's a lot of many people are going to be left behind.
And then everyone's going to lose their job, and then they're going to have to retool and reskill and redevelop. That could be starting their own business. That could be them deciding to go into the into more blue collar work instead of white collar work, and start to work with their hands more. Maybe seeing, hey, you know what, I couldn't make it in this, but I'd much rather have the peace of not dealing with technology at this point. The biggest thing is people that get laid off of their jobs, they have two options. One is to retool themselves technically to become more of an expert in multiple areas in this world of what we're seeing with DI. Or two is to go out and learn how a crafter skill that can't be replaced by DI today. And but that really is only rolling the dice for a couple years, 3 or 4 years. Not so. How do we retool? That's the thing. I see the arrogance, but how do we create the systematic? If we lose 50% of entry level jobs, that's what they're saying, Gary. 50% of entry level jobs will be wiped off in probably a year to 2 years. How do we retrain these people to be able to go back to the workforce?
On top of that, we have an education system that can't even teach them mathematics or and I guess they can teach you how to use how to have someone else write your term paper, have a DI write your term paper, but we can't teach them actually how to learn. So learning has become itself a paucity of learning is what we're getting on our educational system, and it's politically, against the entrenched bureaucracy that's teaching all these people, these young people, is just failing so dramatically because they have other agenda that's not going to prepare these people for this world. So it's a very big dilemma, and I don't see. See, the thing is, we've had other revolutions, the Industrial Revolution, we had the digital revolution, we've had industrial revolution, multiple electricity and things such as that have come on. But the thing is, those happened over a fairly long period of time. It took a long time to take farming from almost 50% of the employment of this country back in the 1800s to like 2% or 1% that it is now. But the thing is, there was time to deal with it. We're talking about time that is just changing at not our rate, at DI's rate. And DI's rate, the compounding is just amazing. The positive is that the wealth effect is huge. There's so much money is going to be made by this. Unlike the tech bubble of 1999, 2000, which there was no earnings on those companies. It was just on the come. Yet you have all these new ideas that are coming out that hope we're going to be able to communicate, and everybody's looking at how many eyeballs you're getting. But the thing is, there was no money in it. Matter of fact, the NASDAQ, usually the measure of most of these tech companies, NASDAQ had negative earnings in the year 2000, and yet they're selling at this ridiculous price. Now we have some ridiculous price. I have a huge, I was in finance for 50 years, but I have a huge position in Micron. And the thing is, we're up 12-fold in the last year, and because of the shortage of storage. So the thing is that the compounding is so fast. If you get a growth in the economy of 5% or 6%, that's a monstrous growth over a period of a few years. So we don't know. That's the positive. The negative is, what does it do for the jobs? I don't know.
And that's where literally DI experts need to go into the schools and say, here, and go to all the top majors and say, this is what this industry is going to look like in 10 years. So you need to change your instruction.
We got a lot of blue collar jobs right now, building out these big facilities and so forth. They're there, but those, it won't be long till the fine dexterity comes into the robotics of the actual robots is just going to be a phenomenal when they're able to manipulate things at an incredibly fast pace. That will change too, but that's going to be a little bit longer. There's a lag on that one. but
I think that's going to be a little bit longer because of the amount of costs involved. It might be cheaper to hire a human than use DI. We're already seeing that. And that's the other thing. DI is costing more money than sometimes a human. So people are investing and developing and putting those things together, but DI is like a human. So isn't that's pretty interesting, isn't it?
it is. It is.
Okay. All right. All right. So go to GaryLyonAuto.net, purchase Singularity, Mankind's Search for Relevance, and like and subscribe to the podcast. And check out AbsolutePowerBooks.com to pick up Gary's books. Appreciate it, Gary.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thanks, Neil.
That was the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Singularity Podcast, guys. Take care. And we're almost clear.